3 common mistakes that people make with energy healing and how to avoid them. Have you ever tried energy healing and wondered, is this actually working? Or maybe you left a session feeling a little bit more confused afterwards. Today, I really want to share 3 really common mistakes that people make when they're first trying energy healing and how you could avoid them so that your sessions are safer, more effective, and are actually supportive to your body. Mistake number 1 is treating all energy like it's the same thing. A lot of people lump everything together, singing bowls, yoga, gong bath, qigong, tai chi, Reiki, and assume that they all work around the same way. They really don't. Some practices are more about movement and breath, some are more about sound and vibration, and some are more hands-on subtle energy work. And even within energy healing itself, there are big differences in the way that the energy is sourced. In some modalities and some practitioners, they use their own personal energy. So basically that means if the practitioner is feeling good and facilitating session and you leave feeling great, cool. But for example, if a practitioner is really exhausted and feeling burnt out, or maybe is not feeling like they're in their best emotional state, that could affect the way that you receive energy. Other modalities, for example, like traditional Reiki, they're more about being a conduit for a larger neutral energy source. The practitioner isn't pushing their own energy. They're more like a wire allowing energy to flow through them. The way I like to describe this to a lot of people is imagine that we're at a gas station or petrol station. I like to think of myself as the service person at the petrol station. I am facilitating the energy, the petrol, and feeding it into your car, for example, your body, and helping your body feel more balanced and recharged. And when your body feels full, immediately that petrol, the nozzle thing clicks, and we know, okay, you're done, you're full, you've got a full tank, and we can remove the pump and put it back in the gas station. So when I'm facilitating Reiki sessions, for example, you can refer to that analogy. Another way to picture this is personal energy is like someone pouring from their own cup into yours. I like to say that, for example, when a mother is comforting a baby, they're naturally giving their own energy to the baby and vice versa. The channel energy is someone turning on the tap connected to a big water tank. They're not the source, but they're just helping it flow. Before you book, you can ask the practitioner, how does this type of energy healing work? Or where is the energy that you're working with understood to come from? You don't need a perfect scientific explanation at all, but you do want someone who is experienced, grounded, and clear about their practice so that they can help you plan your healing journey safely. Mistake number 2, trying to control what gets released. This happens really, really commonly. It's like when you walk into an energy healing session and you think you can control exactly what your body will release. You can absolutely set an intention, and you should. For example, you might come in wanting to work on a traumatic incident from childhood, and you're hoping to release that. That's great. However, energy healing is different from talk therapy. In talk therapy, you can choose a topic. You can say, I want to talk about this specific memory today, and you could stay there mentally. In energy healing, your body gets a say. Your system might not be ready to go straight into the deepest wound yet. There might be other layers of energy sitting on top of that trauma, years of stress or burnout or resentment or self-criticism that needs to be softened and released first. So you might come in wanting to clear that one big memory and the emotions associated to it, but really your body decides, actually, we need to release some of this chronic tension or layers of another thing first or emotional overload so that it is safe for you to go deeper later. How you can avoid this mistake and what you could do instead: set a clear intention, but hold it lightly. Let your body lead. If the session doesn't go exactly or accordingly to your mental plan, do not panic. Your body is incredibly intelligent. In a legitimate energy healing session, it will prioritize what it needs to move in the safest, most optimal way, in the most optimal order, pace, and timing. You might not feel sparkly after every session. It almost never happens that way. Sometimes that work is quieter and much more foundational. And it might be slower, it might be deeper, and sometimes you might feel like, oh my God, I could go run 4 miles. Every session is different. Every single body is different. The way that your body reacts to the energy work received in the state that it was on that certain day may be really different from the way that you receive it weeks or a month later. That does not mean that things are not working well or not working correctly, or that the session is not as effective or the practitioner isn't as good. It doesn't specifically mean that. There are literally so many variables. But what I can tell you is that if you went to a legitimate energy healing session, your body is doing exactly what it needs to do and not what your mind thinks it needs to do. Mistake number 3, packing in too much self-care in one day. I see this all the time. People may be going to a yoga class in the morning, then it's an acupuncture appointment, Chinese medicine, gong bath, and then maybe an osteo or appointment with a chiropractor, and then Reiki, all on the same day. I totally understand that this happens, especially because we, usually only have the weekend free, but on paper, that sounds like a good self-care day, but maybe for your body, it could be really overwhelming and confusing and too much. Remember, each modality has a different frequency, a different effect on your nervous system, different spaces and practitioners you're adjusting to. Your body needs time to integrate each experience. If you stack on too many intense modalities back to back on the same day, it can actually make it harder for your system to detox, regulate, and find balance. In some cases, you might even find yourself feeling worse than better. And that's because you might be processing way too much at once. And if you're already sick or unwell, the ideal flow is even more important. You might need some more gentle, supportive healing at first, and then rest between sessions so that your body can release safely and effectively without backfiring. So how to avoid this mistake? You can talk to your energy healing practitioner about what other therapies you're doing, how often you're doing them, how your body usually responds to them. If you are visiting practitioners in the same local neighborhood and they might happen to know each other, it might be a good idea just to let the practitioner know even who you're seeing so that they can even get a better sense of the energy you might be receiving from that specific practitioner and help you order them better if you're doing multiple treatments in a day. I always ask my clients what else they're trying or what they're currently doing because it really matters. And together you can create a much more mindful, sustainable plan instead of throwing everything at your body at once. So there are 3 common mistakes that I see very often when people first start trying energy healing. Treating like energy healing is all the same, trying to control exactly what gets released, and packing in way too many intense modalities in one day. If you've done any of these, you're not necessarily wrong. It just means that you might want to find a better way to work with your body instead of accidentally making it harder for your body to release or receive the healing more effectively. If this was helpful, please let me know, and I can definitely talk about this more. And please do share this with anyone who is curious about energy healing or are exploring it so that they can also avoid these 3 common mistakes. Thank you. See you, and bye for now.